Hey YouTube, this is Mr. Penguin and we're playing more Asagao Academy. It is incredibly hot today, so I don't know how long these episodes are going to be. Also, if you can hear blinds, that's my dog trying to get outside because I've locked all the doors because there's people loud outside. So not only is it hot, but I'm locked in a box with a dog and an oven and a computer that makes a lot of heat. Oh boy, I'm already sweating. I bounced inside her dorm full of joyous anticipation at the prospect of seeing my winged love. This will give me energy. Mai stood nearby watching me nervously. Oh my god, that's adorable! Did I not get to see this before? Mai, you are the cutest. Yes. Just yes. So excited?
Yay!
Yes, I'm so excited! But, what are you gonna do with a bird? It's not like he can eat or play games or anything. My bouncing faltered. But I'm sure there are things you can only do with a robot bird for fun, right? He could probably, spy on people for you. Make sure people don't take your things. Turn slowly to her. Right? Yeah, right? Worry etched her face, but I smiled and tried to play it off. I'll be fine. This is, I know it's not normal, but it's what I want. That'll be okay. I'll be okay. If you say so. I nodded happily. He should be here any minute. I'm gonna go wait outside. Right, I guess I'll see you later. I left the room and shut the door behind me. Is it already too late for her? Mai's kind of worried. I'm kind of worried. I stood outside, body humming. Every flicker of movement in the distance, my heart leapt. Flowers fell in the breeze and stirred the sense of spring. It didn't matter what anybody else thought. At some point, I made an unconscious decision. I was following through. I would do whatever it took to be happy, and if that meant having Jacques, it meant having Jacques.
Hana!
Hana!
Hey!
Jacques, Jean, there you two are! Hana, you look amazing. Thanks, what do you think, Jacques? I held in my arms and did a little twirl, giggling. Jacques bobbed his head in acknowledgement. Those flowers are my favorite. Are they? I can see I'm interrupting. John held a finger to his shoulder and Jacques crawled onto it. John's chin wobbled. Oh, because he's sad. Right, they're not calling him fat. That would be rude. So I guess I'll leave him with you for the time being. I nodded eagerly as John tenderly stroked Jacques' head. Trying to pluralize too many things. You'll be okay, won't you? Better than when you had me. Oi, why? Even when you're so sassy and I'm full of emotion. Even now. Yeah. I sass to cover up my feels, John. Aw, buddy, you gonna miss me too? I'll miss you like takeout. Buddy. I cleared my throat impatiently, holding out my hand. Okay, have fun, buddy. Jacques hopped from John's finger to my own, his tiny claws scraped me, supporting so much weight, such fragile tendrils. He shifted until he got his balance and scratched a wing. It felt to me like having a baby resting its head against your shoulder. I wanted to protect him, I wanted to love him, I wanted to make sure he was safe. I never wanted to let go. Jacques crawled up my arm with a combination of tenacity and skill, and once perched on my shoulder, I felt his head move towards John. I will miss you. Please have fun tonight. Buddy! I cleared my throat. John wiped his face with the back of his hand and straightened his shirt. Well then, I'll just be going.
See you later.
Bye, John. I'll see you later tonight. I waved eagerly as John stumbled off into the darkness. Finally, I was well and truly alone with Jacques. So, Jacques, what do you want to do? Jacques scratched under his wing again, then shuffled his feet. Lead the way. Okay. I headed down towards the festival where there were stalls at which to play games and eat food, but Maya was right, and I had no idea what appeal those would carry for Jacques. Instead, I crossed towards the bonfire, set in a field ways from the festival. People, especially older folk, were gathered around it, watching the flames dance. In the distance, I could see Miss Shizuka laughing with an older fellow, his arms slung around her waist, her face a luminescent shade of red. Is that already Mr. Saitomo? That won't work out. I glanced at shock and surprise. No, why not? That human male has no interest in her as a person. It is unfortunate. Whoa. I turned back to the man with Miss Shizuka. He was grinning lopsidedly, rubbing his hand up and down her waist. No? No, it's not. I guess it's not, Mr. Saitomo. Go closer if you want to hear. I crept closer to them under the guise of finding a suitably dry log to sit on. All the logs were equally dry, so maybe it wasn't convincing, but Miss Shizuka didn't notice either way. Slowly, their conversation became audible. Miss Shizuka was giggling intensely. She seemed to be more nervous than happy. Oh, do you want to go get some ice cream? I really love ice cream. That's a lot of work. Is it? Yeah, but we can head back over to my place. I have this special kind that'll knock your socks off. Haven't even bothered sharing it with anyone yet. The man grinned at her, his hands straying lower, but Miss Shizuka didn't seem to notice. Instead, her eyes glittered. It occurred to me that perhaps she thought this was an invitation meant he reciprocated her feelings.
Humans are predictable.
I frowned and turned away. I didn't want to watch any more of that.
Miss Shizuka keeps picking up the same kind of men, so it isn't surprising this happens.
Jacques, why are people so horrible? Jacques cocked his head to the side as if contemplating the question.
That's a matter of perspective.
Really?
Is it? The people I've met in my life... Oh, that's not him. People I've met in my life, almost all of them before coming to Asagao Academy were absolute jerks. When I first arrived here, I found people who were different, people who truly cared about one another and about me. As time went on, despite the affection I received from everyone, I found myself feeling distant. I thought I cared about them. I knew I cared about them, but I couldn't feel it. I reciprocated their affections the way I would have if I had been feeling it, but I remained for the most part unstirred. In some instances, my body reacted, but my emotions didn't. I didn't understand why it was happening. But Jacques, that's why I like you.
What is?
He moved from one side of my shoulder. He moved from side to side on my shoulder. I wasn't sure what that meant, but I assumed he was thinking.
Why did you choose to take me to the festival?
Why? Well, do you remember my first real day of school? Jacques' eyes flashed.
Yes, you said you were afraid of birds.
And also robots, I think. I grinned sheepishly. I am afraid of birds. When I first saw you, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, a pang of terror. I've been living in fear for a full year, completely afraid of all the people around me and what they could do to me. I was still afraid of what Asagao would be like and whether things would go poorly. I was this tight ball of anxiety, but then I saw you and felt a pang of real terror. I smiled and Jacques' eyes flashed again.
I am not following.
Do you remember that after that, I found out you were a robot? I felt instantly safe again. Just like that, all my fears were wiped away. Then I got to watch you and John interacting like an old married couple, full of love and understanding for one another. I think it was then that it happened. I thought, I want that too.
So you literally went to take me from John?
No.
No, not that. That sounds so horrible. Jacques shook his wings. I can trust you more than I can trust people. I feel safe with you.
Hana, I think you were very strange.
I nodded. I think so too. You don't think I'm weird for liking you, do you?
That is a dangerous question, Hana.
Dangerous? How so?
Neither answer would be good for you.
Aw, Jacques, are you looking out for my well-being? Jacques bobbed his head from side to side.
It is a matter of perspective.
That's what I like about you. You're so straightforward, so reliable.
Again, a matter of perspective.
Well, from my perspective, you are truly wonderful, and I would feel privileged to be able to spend more time with you.
Indeed?
I nodded happily.
It would indeed be a privilege, as John would have granted you the ability.
What?
Have to grant you the ability.
Literally, it would literally be a privilege. Okay. The happiness I felt up to now slid off me like water. I guess he would, wouldn't he?
Hana, John is the most important person to me. You understand that, right?
Yes, I understand that. Why was he telling me this now? Didn't he want us to have a fun time? You shouldn't bring up other people when you're on a date. It's not polite.
Hana, I am feeling uncomfortable.
What?
What? No, I'm sorry. I lost my temper. Please don't feel uncomfortable. Look, there's such pretty flowers over there. We should go look at them.
Perhaps another time. Would you please take me to John?
Oh, this is getting real weird. My heart stopped in my chest. Had I blown it with Jacques? Was even Jacques a literal robot program for companionship rejecting me? No, that didn't make sense. Jacques wasn't a robot. No, wait. He was a robot. A fog came over my mind, a headache throbbing against my skull. I pressed a hand on my temple, wincing in pain.
Hana, are you okay?
I'm fine. Sorry, that came out of nowhere. Maybe it would be better if I took you back for now. You're right. I headed back to campus towards Bluebell House. Jacques was worried about me. That was enough to clear my mind with each step I took. As we got inside, something occurred to me. Jacques, couldn't you fly to John yourself? He shook his head.
I might be a bird, but the metal in my wings prevents flight. They were there for aesthetic only. They are there. There.
He stretched a wing out, showing it off as one might flex an arm. I giggled as we reached John's door and stretched out an arm to knock on it. My hand froze. A sudden thought gripped me. Jacques couldn't fly. Didn't that mean that if I were to take him, wouldn't I be able to keep him? Hana, what are you doing? A small trembling spread across my body, first slowly, then faster. Trembling grew until I was shuddering in front of the door. I should knock on the door. I should knock.
Hana?
Hey, do you think... The door opened in front of me and I stood face to face with John. Oh, gosh! Jacques, there you are. I was just about to come look for you.
Take me. I am yours.
John held a finger to my shoulder and took Jacques from me without my permission. He's not your bird! I clamped my mouth tightly shut. I'm so glad you're okay. Hana, I have to admit, I was worried. I'm glad to see I can trust you. A smile plastered itself over my face. Of course, I treat Jacques as if you were my own. Did you have fun?
It was fun, but I still would have preferred spending the time with you.
I shifted as the sentence hit me. It was as though it was for a physical blow, and I averted my gaze from the two. I might ask, how is it that Jacques can have preferred feelings for someone if he's a robot? Jacques is highly advanced. He's programmed with a free will mechanic that allows him to control his own decisions and thinking. Along with that, his affection for other people. What? Along with that is his affection for other people. It grows and diminishes with people's treatment of him, and I guess some other variables I don't know about. He simulates a personality well, doesn't he? I nodded uncomfortably. So you've never messed with the mechanic before?
No.
Oh no, never. I'm not even sure I can. I've never looked into it. I don't want to keep Jacques from living the way he wants to. He might even be a robot, he might be a bird, but he's my best friend. He was there for me. He loved me unconditionally when nobody else would. Oh, but you understand what I'm getting at, don't you? You were saying the same thing when you asked him to the festival. Yeah, I get it. Of course I hadn't thought of the mechanic like that. I guess there are ethics even with robots, right? Especially with robots. I could go into the laws of robotics and what I feel like they're owed based off them, but I need to get to the radio station right now. Hughes and I have a show to do. Right, sorry, I guess I'm in your way then. A little bit. I stepped out of the way of the door and gestured to the hall. After you two? Thank you. Yeah, thanks for showing Jacques a good time, Hana. Anyways, I'm sure you'll see you in class tomorrow or something.
See you later.
I'm not getting any of these sentences right. I hope nobody cares that all the sentences have the right words in the wrong order. Yeah, I hope to see you, or both of you, again tomorrow.
See you later.
Right, have a good night. John waved to me and headed off down the hallway. Jacques didn't even bother looking back. Oh, Hana, this is not okay. This is so not okay. But it was okay. This was okay. I could be satisfied spending time with him like this. After all, there was no hope of changing my situation. None at all. I just had to bide my time and enjoy each moment as it came. I put my hand on my head, feeling dizzy again. At some point, I had returned to my dorm and crawled into my bed. I hadn't even changed out my yukata. Something had felt weird about this whole thing. It felt a little off. But it was okay. I'd see Jacques again tomorrow. As long as I held on to that thought, nothing mattered. Nothing really mattered. This is really weird. I don't know how to feel, because it's getting really Jacques route. One chapter, boom, that's it. It's just this is it, and then it's this chapter, which may or may not be like 2 episodes. I don't know. Historically, it's probably closer to like an episode and a half. I sat with Jean and Jacques in the library, listening to them bicker. I told you, we only have to look up 5 different attack combos.
I think you should do 40.
But I don't need to.
Trust me, your skills could use some work.
I giggled and John sighed in exasperation. Hana, help me with this guy. There's no way I'm going to survive trying to take care of him for the rest of my life. I'll take care of him for you. How about that? Does that sound good, Jacques? I winked at him and his eyes glowed.
No.
Ha! What a card.
Yeah.
Haha. Yeah. John frowned at me, then set aside his book.
Hana.
Hana. I looked at him expectantly, and he cleared his throat. It has come to my attention that you might have misunderstood something about Jacques. You seem to think he's a real person who has feelings.
No.
But Jacques doesn't. Not the way you or I do. He's a robot, after all. Well, I know that. Why are you telling me something like this? Don't be silly. I'm not judging you. I'm not saying you're doing anything or feeling any certain way. But even friendship works differently for Jacques. He's running off a program, whether you like it or not. Granted, he's got free will. That's why he can be as sassy as he is. I would never in my life violate his free will. That's what I like about him.
Stop. You're making me blush.
See, this is a little weird. It's getting into like deterministics and things. Like if people are wired a certain way and you're raised a certain way, are you really expected to behave in any different way? If you're just a bunch of wires, effectively, like neurons in your head, you're essentially programmed a certain way by history and by what you do. So do you get less free will over time as the connections become stronger? Do you ever really have free will? Because when you're younger, your parents pretty much dictate what you do, and that reinforces particular neural connections. But you can definitely change, like neural pathways change over time, and if you get brain damage, you can restructure There's a whole branch of science about it. It's neuroplasticity. And, it's complicated. It's really complicated. But he can't feel like you or I. There's nothing that'll make him feel that way. I had an experience with him in the past, you know? That's why I'm warning you. I don't want you to fall into the same kind of thing that I did. It's not worth it. Programs are programs. As much as Jacques is my friend, I had to come to terms with that. So should you. I smiled, my chin trembling. Of course I know that. Don't worry, John. I'm not an idiot. I'm certainly not gonna have real feelings for a computer program. What kind of person would do that? He shrugged. I'm sure you wouldn't be the first. Don't worry, I know you're smarter than that. I just wanted you to know, since you're so empathetic and everything. I cocked my head to the side, confused. Well, thanks for the warning. It means a lot, I guess. No problem, Hana. Now then, back to studying, eh, Jacques?
Spirit me.
Yeah!
That's the spirit. John buried his head in his book. I pretended to read my own, but all while watching Jacques out of the corner of my eye. Computer program. Really? Did John want me to believe that? Did he really even believe it himself? Anyone who had met Jacques could realize he was something special. He wasn't just a robot. There was no way. Not after the flower festival. I wanted to argue with John, but there was no way I could do that while appearing sane. I didn't know enough about the laws of robotics to even start debating philosophy and ethics on the matter. Instead, I nodded to whatever John said, all the while imagining a possible future. Myself and Jacques, the leaders of a new world order, free will, freedom of expression, true rights for robots. Robots who are human, just like John or me. John or I were. Just like John or just like John or I were. Yeah. Even if I was the only one who saw it, it must be real, right? It must be. It was late one evening in our dorm room. I was laying on my bed staring at the ceiling. How do you stare at the ceiling through a bunk bed? That's a little weird. Even as I tried to put it out of my mind, I couldn't. Jacques didn't love me. He couldn't love me, no matter what I did. I wanted to forget about my feelings for him, but the more I tried to push them out of my mind, the more they followed me. Whether I was in class, or eating, or in the shower, or going to sleep, everywhere I looked was Jacques. It didn't help that I was starting to feel less and less sure of myself. Not only was he a bird, but he was also a robot. A robot with a personality of some sort with a personality and some form of feeling, but a robot nonetheless. Was I crazy for feeling this way? Was there something wrong with me? Part of me thought so, but the rest of me felt like there was more to the situation than met the eye. There was something about Jacques that seemed utterly human. The only question was, how would I get to it? Hana!
What?
What? The shock set me off the bed. I landed headfirst on the floor. Ow! I sat on the ground nursing my now throbbing head and glared at Mai. To my surprise, she didn't look apologetic at all. She looked downright furious. What was that for? I don't know what's wrong with you, but you really need to shape up. What are you talking about?
What the hell?
Did you forget that our joint essay was due earlier today and that you were the one who was going to turn into Mishizuka? A sinking feeling hit my stomach, but I avoided her eyes. That's not due till tomorrow. I grabbed the calendar sitting in my desk and shoved it in my face.
No!
It was due today! You said you would turn it in! I bristled and tried nonchalantly to shrug it off. I'll just go talk to her and explain what happened. It should be fine. Why didn't you turn it in if you knew and I didn't... what? Turn it in if you knew I didn't do it.
What the hell?
I had a game! You know this! She took a long, deep breath and looked at me again. Tell me what's been up with you. There was a period of silence. I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
You think I haven't noticed? You haven't been doing any homework or studying anymore. Your grades are falling drastically. You're barely eating at lunch, and I haven't seen you even touch that game in a week. Don't you want to join the Gnarlies Club? Are they relying on you for the tournament? More importantly, aren't you going to basically flunk out of here if you don't shape up? I swallowed and grabbed my backpack. Surely my grades weren't that bad. I was still a smart girl, even if I wasn't putting as much effort in my schoolwork. 32. The first paper I grabbed had a 32 on it. I stared at it completely dumbfounded. I'd never gotten below 70 in my life, not since the year before. How had I not noticed? I crossed her arms. She saw the look at my face. Okay, maybe my grades have been falling a bit, but it's nothing I can make up. And yeah, maybe I could use a bit more practice. What are you, my mother? Don't get in my case like this. I can look after myself. Can you really? Why won't you just tell me what's wrong? I know it's something. You're not usually like this. I confess my feelings. Confess what I know to be true. I took a deep breath, ready to reveal my feelings for Jacques and my deepening sense of hopelessness. When I tried to say something, I've been dealing with some stuff from home. A lie came out instead. I frowned. Okay. You know, you can always talk to me if you need to, Hana. I'm always here for you. I nodded, biting my lip. Of course you are. This whole thing is so hard. It's so hard to go through. It's only a few days later when it happened. Hana, please, I really need your help. There's been an emergency with the play and I need to go right to the theater to sort it out. Apparently someone set something on fire or else something would have had. I don't know if you can hear that. Theo's like itching so hard he's scratching up the floor. Apparently someone set fire. Apparently someone set something on fire or else there's someone hiding in closets waiting to stab you with a plastic sword. I'm not really sure. Is that a reference? Something in a play of some sort? Someone hiding in closets waiting to stab people with plastic swords? Sounds like something Hamlet-esque. But I left Jacques to upgrade after lunch and I can't go get him. He needs to be unplugged immediately after he upgrades or else he can get some really weird malfunctions. Can I please, please, please trust you to get Jacques for me? My eyes widened. Of course, John, but why me? You're the only one Jacques trusts besides me. I'm not even sure how you did it, but you did. Warmth swelled my heart. I felt myself glowing with pride.
Yeah.
Of course, you can count on me. Good, thank you. He's not done when you get there. Just wait a bit. There's a 10-minute window after it finishes, so you should have enough time. Oh, and if you see any alerts pop up on the program, just hit OK. He dug around in his pocket and handed me a silver key, rather than the golden ones the girls had.
Bye.
Bring him to the theater after you grab him, okay? I'll see you there. He dashed out of the room, sheer panic across his face. As I crossed the door, I noticed Shane staring at me. John never trusts people with Jacques. That, he turned away. Huh. Oh, right, I should hurry. I didn't want anything to go wrong with Jacques now, did I? 312, 313, 3 and 4, here it is. John's room. And with that, we're gonna end this episode here. The episode's gonna be a little bit shorter. I think this, I'm gonna end it here. If you want me to do more of this game, let me know down in the comments so I have enough time to keep playing more of it and keep this train going. Otherwise, who knows what might happen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll check you in the next video.